Hi friends, it's Lisa Mears. Thanks for joining me. In this video, I'm going to be making a super quick and easy birthday card using some new products from scrapbook.com, including their Hooray stamp set. This stamp set has the large word Hooray. It also has a sentiment that says it's your day and happy birthday to you. There's also some layering stamps. You have an ice cream cone. Here's the cone shape. You have a solid and an outline, and then you have the ice cream, and then there's also a smiley face. This is a super cute stamp set that doesn't involve any coloring, just your ink pads, and there is a coordinating die set available for that stamp set, although I don't have it to show you, but I will link it down below with all the products that you see here today. And here is the Hooray Paper Pad. It has so many fun patterns for birthday cards. This is the 6x8 paper pad that also comes as an A2 size paper pad, which is 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. There are 40 sheets total, and you get 5 sheets of each double-sided page for a total of 16 patterns altogether. There are lots of rainbow colors in this pad, including pink, red, yellow, green, blue, and orange. So I'm going to be making a super quick and easy birthday card using both of these products today. Since I am going to be stamping, I'm bringing in my mixed media white heavyweight cardstock from scrapbook.com. This cardstock is so smooth and thick, it's perfect for stamping as well as coloring with watercolors. So I'm going to be using this stamp Happy Birthday to You that is in an arch shape, and I'll also be using the ice cream cone. And since that sentiment is in an arch shape, I thought it would pair great with these nested arch dies from scrapbook.com. So I was just trying to find a die that fit the width of the stamp, and once I find one, I'm going to go ahead and die cut this white cardstock. So I'm just going to use some mint tape to hold that die down. I ran it through my die cutting machine, and now I'm going to pull out my Misti and I'm going to stamp out this sentiment. Now I won't be using that large Hooray stamp, although that is such a fun stamp because it's so big, and when you use big stamps like that, you really don't need to add much else to a card because the sentiment does all of the talking for you. But I'm going to stick with the arch sentiment, and I'm just lining everything up here, including that ice cream cone. But I did find that that arch that I cut out was a little bit too big, so I'm just going to bring in a smaller die and die cut that white cardstock one more time to get rid of some of the white space on that arch, and then I'm going to position the sentiment and I'm going to stamp that out. So you can see how that arch sentiment, it fills nicely the shape of the die cut. So I'm going to go ahead and hold this paper down with my magnets, and I'm just going to stamp this out with some black ink. So I'm going to go ahead and add the ink to my stamp, and then I will press this down on to the cardstock, and I am going to stamp this out just a few different times to make sure I have a really good black impression. And after I stamp out the sentiment, I am going to go ahead and remove that stamp from the Misti, and then I'm going to position the ice cream cone where I want it on that die cut. Now I am using the solid stamp first, and since these are going to be different colors, I am going to remove the actual ice cream part of it and just stamp out the cone first. Now when you're using layering stamps, it's always best to use a lighter color ink with the solid stamp. So I'm coming in with my scrapbook.com Honeycomb ink and stamping down the shape of the ice cream cone. And then for the stamp that layers on top, I'll use a darker color ink. So again, it's always best you're using the lighter color first so that you can see the next color over top of the lighter color. So I just lined up the next stamp right on top of the previous one. And now I'm going to ink that up with my darker color ink, and this one is the scrapbook.com Gingerbread ink. So you can see how that darker color you can see perfectly well over top of the lighter honeycomb ink. So now the ice cream cone is finished. Now I'm going to line up the solid stamp for the actual ice cream, and I'll just line that up with the top of that cone. I'll go ahead and hold that down with my magnets, and I will ink this one up with the pink Flamingo ink. So this is my lighter pink ink, and that gives me the shape of the actual ice cream. So I ink that up a few times, and now I'll remove that stamp, and I will line up the next stamp, which gives me all of that texture and shading for the ice cream. And then this one I'm inking with my Confetti Pink Scrapbook.com ink. So you can see how using these layering stamps, you don't even have to color with your markers. You can just use inks to get a really fun and colorful stamped image. So looking at this design so far, I feel like there's a lot of white space between the sentiment and the top of the ice cream cone. And I want to close up that white space by adding something else there. So I went through my stash to find out what small stamps. I was looking for like some small star stamps that I could just stamp out to fill up some of that white space. And I found this stamp set. This is the Party Animal stamp set from scrapbook.com, and it has a few stars in here. Now I only need to stamp out like 3 of these stars, but I'm going to go ahead and use both of them. There's a larger one and a smaller one, so I'll add these to my acrylic block, and I'm just going to stamp these out with some light color inks to match the ice cream. So I'm going to stamp out these stars right in that white space using the pink Flamingo ink that I used on the actual ice cream, and then I'm bringing in the buttercream ink, which is a very light orange color, and I'll stamp out some of the smaller stars. Now that my stamping is finished, I need to pick out a pattern paper that matches the colors that I stamped with. So I'm just going through this Hooray Paper Pad to see what paper I want to use for the background of my design. And I really like this one with the stars. I think it matches because I added some stars to my stamped image, so I'm going with that. And I also need to find a solid for a layering piece for my arch, and I'm going to go with this pink color from the Sprinkles paper pad. So I'm going to layer the stamped image with the pink paper. I just die cut a larger arch die with the pink paper and layered those two together. I'm going to bring in some twine from Pink and Main, and I chose a pink color that matches the ink colors of that ice cream, and I'm just wrapping that twine around the bottom part of that arch. And I chose to use some twine here because I still had some extra white space at the bottom that I wanted to kind of get rid of. So adding that twine, it does eliminate some of that white space at the bottom of that die cut. So I just added some twine, wrapped it around the bottom, and then tied a bow, and I'm just going to snip off the ends of the bow. And to adhere this to my card, I'll be adding some double-sided adhesive foam to the back of the arch. And that's going to allow it to pop up a little bit, which will also allow it to lay flat on this card since there is some twine behind there. I just didn't add any of the foam where the twine is so that this will lay flat on this card layer. So that pattern paper layer, it measures the same size as an A2 card front, 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches, and I'm just adding that arch to the center, and then I'll add that entire layer to an A2 size card base. This is such a fun and easy card to make with the brand new Hooray products from scrapbook.com. I love how this card turned out for a quick and easy birthday card. If you're interested in any of the products I've used, check the link in the description below. You can also find them on my coordinating blog post at lisamearsdesigns.com. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you like videos like this and want to see more, make sure you click that subscribe button. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.